Hello, I'm attorney Lewis Haskell, and I made a video a week or two ago just trying to show that when it comes to routine immigration matters, USCIS is still up and running, and for the most part, it's business as usual. After all, the law is the law, and although the President of the United States has a lot of authority and a lot of discretion in terms of enforcement and removal and the border and these sorts of things, when it comes to handing out green cards for people who qualify for them, the president can certainly increase the amount of work involved, make it take longer, all kinds of things like that. But at the end of the day, if you qualify under the Immigration and Nationalities Act, you qualify under the Immigration and Nationalities Act, and there's not a lot that's going to change. It did not change in Trump 1.0, and it's not changing in Trump 2.0. I was going to make this video last week, but I was busy when I got these letters, which are the approval notices. Open this one, which are the approval notices for my clients. One is the child of a U.S. citizen. The other, the other is the spouse of a U.S. citizen. And these petitions were filed, I believe, in just this past September. Where's my priority date? There it is, September 26, 2025. So to get approvals that quickly is actually pretty cool. However, I'm really not going to talk about those letters because, well, the green cards have arrived. Instead, I will do this one. This would be the wife's green card. And this would be the child's because she married a U.S. citizen. Well, they've been here, but these two now have green cards. We get to bring them in and share the good news. So, again, in this case, it went pretty about as uneventfully as it could. And to file a petition in September and have the green card in hand the first week of January is something to be very happy about. And again, you may hear things about people getting arrested at USCIS interviews. That's happening elsewhere in the country. For the most part, it's not happening in Massachusetts because for most people, we have a consent decree in federal court that actually affects the entirety of the First Circuit. So not just Massachusetts, but New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, New England. Um, I just happen to practice in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So New England. And so, it's certainly appropriate to have a lawyer involved and to make sure you're safe and these kinds of things. Uh, but there's no reason to fear ICE if, for example, you're out of status, but you've married a U.S. citizen, so you're entitled to adjustment of status. ICE is not, at this time, ICE simply cannot deport you, not in Massachusetts. That will change in the future, although at that point, hopefully that silliness will pass by or another case will have stopped it or something like that. But under the existing consent decree, it can't be done. By the way, I've got another envelope here. This one, usually when I open these envelopes on these videos, I kind of know what's in them because the client's name appears. In this case, this one's addressed only to me. This is a fiance petition. This one was filed back in May. So, that's not as impressive as getting it done from September on, but still, it is an approval notice. And so that is also good news. So here again, now this one, of course, the person is not in the United States. So now that it's been approved by USCIS, it still has to go for consular processing. This one looks like probably it's in Cambodia. But once again, USCIS is doing its job, which is to review these petitions and ultimately to approve them. I mean, the only thing that's new really is that the spouse abroad will have a more significant background check done. And in particular, their social media will be looked at. Truth be told, it's always been looked at, but it'll be specifically scrutinized specifically for um, politics, stuff that is contrary to the foreign policy interests of the United States of America, contrary to our form of government and whatnot. So if, my person's fiance is a communist, for example, advocating the overthrow of the United States, or just generally presenting strong anti-Western points of view, which has been a big problem particularly out of Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and some other regions. I really have not seen this as a problem with, in particular, with my Southeast Asian clients, or really even my South American or African clients. But it is something that's new. They are checking social media. Just be aware that that's different. But beyond that, we're expecting the same process, the same aggravation, not new stuff. And we have had consular approvals during the new Trump administration. Again, they do take a week or two longer because of the social media check, but it's not a problem. So now is a good time, actually, to be getting your immigration status squared away. Because if you are, for example, married to a US citizen and your visa overstay and you do not apply for that green card, then yeah, you can be rounded up by ICE. It's a good time to be applying for citizenship if you're a lawful permanent resident, because you're being reminded that it is a big deal that you're not a US citizen, that you have to live in fear, even if you really haven't done anything. So if you need some help or you're just worried about it, come on in and let us help you. Thank you.